Hello children, this is my second video on the chapter Some Basic Concepts of Chemistry. At the end of the video on this notations. Now let's move on to matter. What is matter? Matter is defined as anything which occupies space and has mass. For example, wood, book, water, air, petrol, plastics, iron, etc. and all are composed of matter. Few things like cement, glass, paper, plastics, etc. are matter but are called materials due to their specific uses. Let's see the classification of matter. There are two ways of classification of matter: physical classification and chemical classification. When we will see the physical classification, we can say that matter is made up of three types: solid, liquid and gases. And in chemical, it is of two substances: pure substances and impure substances. Pure substances are elements and compounds, and impure substances are mixtures. These elements are, what are elements? An element is defined as a pure substance which contains only one kind of atoms. An element can neither be broken or into simpler substances nor built from simpler substances by any method. For example, copper, silver, gold, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. all contain atoms of one type only. Compounds. When two or more atoms of different elements combine, the molecule of a compound is formed. Compounds are pure substances and contain more than one kind of element. These elements have a fixed proportion by mass in the compound. The compound can be decomposed into the elements from which it is made by chemical method. The properties of the compounds are entirely different from those of its constituent elements. For example, just see the formation of water. Hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas. When both the gases combine, they form liquid water. Elements can be further categorized in metals, non-metals, metalloids, and one more here, it should be inert gases. Metals have characteristic luster. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. They are malleable, they are ductile, and they contain one kind of atoms. You can say it's monoatomic. Examples: potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, lead, copper, mercury, silver, platinum, gold. Non-metals are generally which do not have luster. They are bad conductors of heat and electricity. They are neither malleable nor ductile, contain one kind of atoms. They can be monoatomic or diatomic. Metalloids are the elements which show few properties of metals and few of non-metals. So we can say properties midway between metals and non-metals are referred to as metalloids, and they contain one kind of atoms. They are monoatomic. For example, germanium, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. Last is noble gases. They occur in the free gaseous state in traces in the atmosphere. They are chemically inactive or inert. They contain one type of atoms and are monoatomic. For example, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. As we have said that they are inactive and inert, but you will find that there are few compounds prepared by xenon and fluorine that we will study when this point will come. Last, mixtures. Mixtures are not pure substances. A mixture may contain two or more substances, elements or compounds in any proportion. Mixtures are of two types, homogeneous and heterogeneous. If I'll ask you for the example of homogeneous, you can say alloys, or when sugar or salt is mixed in water, these are homogeneous mixtures. And for heterogeneous, suppose you mix sand or chalk powder in water, that will be a heterogeneous mixtures. And we have studied about different separation techniques by which we can separate the constituent of mixtures. If you can remember, filtration, crystallization, fractional crystallization, sublimation, distillation, fractional distillation, chromatography. These are few techniques by which we can separate the constituents of the mixtures. Now let's see different laws of chemical combinations. These laws are law of conservation of mass, law of definite or constant proportions, law of multiple proportions, law of reciprocal proportions, law of combining volumes, or you can say Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume. Number 1, law of conservation of mass. This law was given by Antoine Lavoisier in 1789. As you know, the father of chemistry. Two laws are here, in two fragments. The law is, in a physical or chemical change, the total mass of the product is equal to the total mass of the reactants. Suppose you write a chemical reaction, silver nitrate plus sodium chloride gives out silver chloride and sodium nitrate. Now you write down the masses of all the compound. You will find that whatever mass is in the reactant side, same mass you will find in the product side. The second fragment of this law is, matter can neither be created nor destroyed, however may change from one form to another. This law doesn't hold good for nuclear reactions. Just write one question. What weight of silver nitrate will react with 0.585 gram sodium chloride to produce 1.435 gram silver chloride and 0.85 gram sodium nitrate. I am repeating. What weight of silver nitrate will react with 0.585 gram NaCl to produce 1.435 gram silver chloride and 0.85 sodium nitrate? What next you have to do? You have to write the reaction. Silver nitrate plus sodium chloride gives out silver chloride and sodium nitrate. 3 masses are given. You will note down the masses below the compound formula, and one silver nitrate mass is asked. That will be your X. When 3 are known, it will be easy for you to find the last value X. Few example I have displayed here. Please go through it. That will clear your doubts if you will have any. This is a simple law. It will be easy for you to understand it by solving few questions. Now come to the second law. Law of definite or constant proportion. This was given by Joseph Proust in 1799. What this law says? A chemical compound always contains same elements and the proportion by mass is always definite and constant. For example, ratio of hydrogen and oxygen by mass in water is always 1:8, irrespective of the source of water. From wherever we will bring the water sample, the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen will always be 1:8. Third law, and it's the important law also, law of definite proportion. Third law is law of multiple proportion. This was proposed by Dalton in 1803. This law states that When two elements combine to form two or more compounds, then the different masses of one element which combine with the same masses of the other element are in simple ratio by whole numbers. Suppose carbon combines with oxygen. It can give carbon monoxide also and carbon dioxide also. If you will see the ratio in carbon monoxide, you can say carbon 12, oxygen 16, 12 is to 16. And in carbon dioxide, carbon 12 and 2 atom of oxygen molecule will give you mass 32. So in this 12 is to 16 and in the second 12 is to 32. So so you can see here the ratio is 1 is to 1 or 1 is to 2. Next law is law of reciprocal proportion or equivalent proportion. This was given by Richter in 1792. This law says that when two elements A and B separately combines with the third element C, then the ratio of the masses of A and B which combine with the constant mass of C bears simple multiple ratio. Now, if A and B combine together, they will react in the same or in simple multiple of the above ratio. Try to understand with this example. You can see here in CH4, methane, 1 gram hydrogen reacts with 3 gram of carbon. In water, 1 gram of hydrogen reacts with 8 gram of oxygen. The mass of carbon and oxygen combine with a constant mass of third element hydrogen are in the ratio of 3:8. Now when carbon and oxygen combine together to form carbon dioxide, the ratio of the mass of carbon and oxygen is 12:32 or 3:8, which is same as above. See the second example. In H2S, 2 gram hydrogen reacts with 32 gram sulfur. In water, 2 gram hydrogen reacts with 16 gram oxygen. The mass of sulfur and oxygen which combine with constant mass of hydrogen is 32:16 or 2:1. Now when sulfur and oxygen combine to form sulfur dioxide, the ratio of mass of sulfur and oxygen is 32:32 or 1:1. It is the simple multiple of the previous ratio. Final law, Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volumes. This was given by Gay-Lussac in 1808. According to this law, when gases react, they do so in simple multiple ratio of volumes, and if the products formed are also gases, all the volumes bear a simple ratio provided all the volumes are measured at same temperature and pressure. Means temperature and pressure should remain same, and when gases combine and they form gas even, the ratio is always a simple ratio. See this example. When hydrogen gas combines with chlorine gas, it forms hydrogen chloride gas. And see the simple ratio. 1 volume hydrogen, 1 volume chlorine. It is forming 2 volume hydrogen chloride gas. So 1:1:2 is the simple ratio. Write one reaction. When nitrogen combines with hydrogen, it forms ammonia. What will be the ratio? 1:3:2. So this was all about in this lecture. In my next lecture, I will take the topic Avogadro's law. Few numericals I will give. Dalton's atomic theory. Atoms and molecules. Atomic mass unit. These things I will discuss in my next lecture. Let's see one Avogadro's law so that I can give you few numericals problem. In 1811, given by Avogadro, according to this law, volumes of gases at the same temperature and pressure should contain equal number of molecules. This is a simple law you have already studied. According on these laws only, I have just given few questions here. Do solve it in your copy. And whatever topic I have asked that I will take in next lecture, do read and come. Children, I request you one thing, that you will hear some noise of vehicles. So just ignore the sound of the vehicle horn. And if you will like me to do late night recording, at that time barking of dogs, trucks and ambulance voice will be there. So just ignore the horn of vehicles. Only concentrate what I am talking to you. Okay. Thank you, children.